In the digital age, existence is synonymous with visibility. If you don't post a story, did the event really happen? If you don't update your status, are you even alive? We are living in a panopticon of constant broadcasting. But amongst the noise, there are ghosts. The people who have accounts but leave no trace. The silent observers who refuse to feed the algorithm their personal data. Who are they? And why does their silence make us so uncomfortable? We usually assume something is wrong. The psychology of projection kicks in immediately. We think, they must be hiding something, or maybe they are depressed, or worse, they have no life. This is the error of the hyperconnected mind. We cannot conceive of a life that is full but undocumented. We mistake the absence of evidence for the evidence of absence. But this assumption says more about our insecurity than their reality. Let's look at the first psychological driver, the rejection of the performative self. Social media forces us to become actors, directors, and PR managers of our own lives. We curate, we edit, we filter. But the non-poster often views this performance as exhausting labor. They don't see social media as a community, they see it as a stage. And they simply decided to walk out of the theater and sit in the park instead. There is a concept called locus of control. People who post constantly often have an external locus of control, seeking validation from outside to feel worthy. The silent ones tend to lean towards an internal locus. Their self-esteem is self-generated. They ate a delicious meal, and the taste was enough. They traveled to a beautiful place, and the memory was enough. They don't need the digital receipt to prove the transaction of joy occurred. Then there is the issue of privacy as the new ultimate luxury. In a world where data is the new oil, maintaining anonymity is an act of rebellion. The non-posters understand that once you upload a piece of yourself, you lose ownership of it. It becomes content. It becomes data for training AI. By not posting, they are hoarding their own essence. They remain the sole proprietors of their personal history. Consider the observer effect. In quantum physics, the act of observing changes the behavior of the particle. Similarly, the act of documenting changes the nature of the experience. When you pull out your phone to record a concert, you stop being a participant and start being a cameraman. The non-posters prioritize raw, unfiltered experience over the captured image. They choose immersion over archiving. They are fully here, precisely because they aren't trying to show you they are here. We must also discuss the secure attachment style. Psychologists suggest that those who feel secure in their relationships don't feel the compulsion to broadcast them. They don't need to post a tribute to their partner to prove they are in love. The validation happens in the living room, not in the comments section. Silence on social media often correlates with loudness in intimacy. They don't shout because they are being heard perfectly fine at home. However, it is not always noble. Sometimes, the silence stems from fear. The fear of judgment or social anxiety. For some, the pressure to curate a perfect persona is so paralyzing that they choose to opt out entirely. It's a defense mechanism. If I don't show you who I am, you can't criticize me. In this case, not posting isn't freedom, it's a fortress. They are hiding behind the wall of silence to avoid the arrows of perception. Let's pivot to the information diet. Just as we watch what we eat, these individuals watch what they output. They treat their attention and their expression as finite resources. Every post requires energy, captioning, tagging, replying. By conserving this energy, they redirect it elsewhere, hobbies, deep work, or actual conversations. They aren't inactive, they are just allocated differently. Their bandwidth is dedicated to high-resolution reality, not low-resolution JPEGs. There is a cynical layer too, the disdain for the algorithm. Some non-posters are simply conscious objectors to the surveillance capitalism model. They know that free platforms are not free, the user is the product. By refusing to post, they are jamming the machinery. It is a quiet protest. A way of saying, I will consume your content, perhaps, but I will not give you my soul to sell to advertisers. What about the mystery factor? In a world where everyone is an open book, the closed book becomes fascinating. We are naturally drawn to the unknown. The person who posts nothing becomes a blank canvas upon which we project our fantasies. Are they secret agents? Are they incredibly wealthy? Are they enlightened monks? Their silence grants them a charisma that oversharing destroys. They maintain the power of the enigmatic. But let's not romanticize it completely. Sometimes, they are just busy. Not hustle culture busy, but existentially busy. They are engaged in the friction of life, changing diapers, fixing a car, reading a dense book, or staring at the ceiling. The interface of their life is tactile, not digital. They simply forgot to tell the internet because the internet is not their primary residence. They are just visiting. We know FOMO, fear of missing out, but the non-poster practices JOMO, the joy of missing out. They don't know the latest meme. They haven't seen the viral video. And they are delighted by their own ignorance. While we drown in a tsunami of irrelevant information, they are sitting on a dry island. Their mental space is decluttered. They aren't missing out on the world, they are missing out on the noise.
Social media is fundamentally a status game. It is a hierarchy of likes. By not posting, these individuals step off the ladder entirely. It is a radical refusal to compete. They stop measuring their worth in metrics. You cannot lose a game you refuse to play. While we are busy polishing our trophies in a digital glass cabinet, they are out there, getting their hands dirty, playing a different sport entirely. There is a cognitive cost to externalizing memory. When you offload a memory to Instagram, your brain feels less need to retain it. The non-posters keep their memories inside. This internalization makes the memory richer, albeit fallible. It evolves with them. It becomes a part of their soul, not just a file on a server in California. They carry their past in their neurons, not in the cloud. This lifestyle embraces boredom. Scrolling kills boredom. But boredom is the birthplace of creativity. The quiet ones allow themselves to be bored. In those moments of stillness, without the dopamine hit of a notification, ideas are born. Self-reflection occurs. They face the void that we try so desperately to fill with cat videos. They stare into the abyss, and sometimes the abyss gives them an idea. We spend hours feeding our avatar, that digital representation of ourselves. We dress it, we frame it, we give it witty captions. But every minute spent feeding the avatar is a minute stolen from the self. The non-posters engage in avatar starvation. They let the digital self die so the real self can live. They understand that you cannot be fully present in two worlds at once. But let's be honest about the cost. The social penalty is real. In a hyper-connected world, silence can feel like abandonment. Friends might forget to invite them because they didn't see a story update. They drift to the periphery of social circles. It is a solitary path. They trade width of connection for depth of solitude. It's a lonely luxury, but a luxury nonetheless. There is an economic principle here. Scarcity creates value. When someone posts 10 times a day, their voice becomes background noise. But the person who posts once a year? That post stops the scroll. We listen. We analyze. Their silence creates a gravity that pulls us in. By speaking less, they ensure that when they do speak, it actually matters. Dunbar's number suggests humans can only maintain about 150 stable relationships. Social media tries to scale this to thousands, breaking our brains in the process. The non-poster subconsciously adheres to Dunbar's limit. They invest in the 5 people they see this week, not the 500 watching their story. They choose the tangible village over the global metropolis. It reminds me of Plato's allegory of the cave. We are the prisoners watching the shadows on the wall, the curated feeds, the highlights, believing them to be reality. The non-posters are the ones who walked out of the cave. They are blinded by the sun of the real world. They don't come back to report to us because explaining the sun to people obsessed with shadows is exhausting. So, challenge yourself. Not to delete your accounts, but to observe your impulse. The next time something beautiful happens, a sunset, a laugh, a perfect meal, resist the urge to capture it. Let it die. Let the moment exist only for you, right then and there. Feel the anxiety of no proof, and then feel the liberation that follows. The paradox is simple. The happiest people often seem to have the quietest feeds. Not because they are hiding, but because they are living. They don't need the audience's applause to know the show is good. Their life is not content. Their life is just life. Maybe the ultimate flex in the 21st century isn't a verified checkmark. Maybe it's the ability to be completely unknown and completely content. Put the phone down. Look up. The resolution out here is infinite.